One of my favourite stories that I haven't actually told or heard for a while is the story of the corn dolly. Now, a farmer one day was out working in his fields. He was working hard, he was cutting the corn with an enormous scythe, working away in the fields. It was a hot day, and to his surprise, he heard a little voice, just very, very quietly at first, and it seemed to be muttering. He couldn't quite make out where it was coming from, and he couldn't quite make out what it was saying. But there was definitely a voice. He shook his head, shrugged his shoulders, and continued working. But the voice got louder and more distinct. And eventually he could hear, coming from the very last little stalks of corn left in the field, he could hear quite clearly a little voice saying, "Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, yeah, just because I'm small and made of corn." Well, the farmer parted the few last stalks of corn and looked down, and there, hidden among the little clump of corn, was a little dolly made entirely of corn. It had corn stalks for legs, corn stalks for a body and arms, and heads, a great head of corn for his head with two little glittering eyes. And the little corn dolly looked up at him and said, "Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Just because I'm small and made of corn, you don't care." And the farmer said, What are you talking about?" Corn dolly said, "Look, I live in this field and you've come and cut down all the corn. Now I've nowhere to live. You've made me homeless. I'm going to be exposed to all the weather the whole winter long. Just because I'm small and made of corn, you don't care. Oh, that's nice." The farmer said, but look, if I didn't cut the corn, well, the wind and the rain would come and beat it down anyway, and you would still have nowhere to live." "Oh, that's nice," said the little corn dolly. "Just 'cause I'm small and made of corn." Well, the farmer felt sorry for the little corn dolly, and he bent down and picked it up, and he said, "Look, come with me and I'll give you somewhere to spend the winter." So he took the little corn dolly back to his barn. He went into the barn and he sat the corn dolly down and he said, "There, now you'll be dry and warm for the rest of the winter. You don't need to worry." The farmer turned to leave the barn when from behind him he heard the little corn dolly say, "Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Just because I'm small and made of corn, I've got to live in a cold, draughty, damp barn. I bet you don't live in a cold, draughty, damp barn, but just because I'm small and made of corn, you don't care. Oh, that's nice." Well, the farmer felt a little guilty then, and he bent down and he picked up the little corn dolly and he said, "Okay, come with me." And he took him into the farmhouse, into the kitchen, and sat him on the kitchen windowsill and said, There, you can stay there for the winter, nice and safe. You've got a lovely view out the window. You don't have to worry anymore." And he turned to leave the kitchen. But from behind him he heard another voice again, and it said, "Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Just because I'm small and made of corn, I've got to stay in the kitchen. You won't be staying in the kitchen, will you? No, you'll be through in a nice warm sitting room. Oh, just because I'm small and made of corn. That's nice, isn't it?" Well, the farmer was getting a little annoyed now. However, he reached over and he plucked up the little corn dolly again and he took him into the sitting room and he sat him on the sideboard at the back of the room and said, "There, you're in the best room now. I hope you're satisfied." And the farmer turned to go and sit in his chair by the fire. "Oh, that's nice," said the little corn dolly. "Oh, yes, you go and sit by the fire in the warm and the light, whereas I Only because I'm small and made of corn, I've got to sit back here in a little dark corner as far away from the fire as I can get. Oh, that's nice, just because I'm small and made of corn. Well, now the farmer was annoyed. He picked a little corn dolly up and he brought him over and he sat him right in the hearth next to the fire. And he said, "There, you've got the best, warmest, brightest seat in the house. I hope you're satisfied now." The little corn dolly looked up at the farmer and he opened its mouth to speak. But before it could say a word, a spark flew from the fire and landed on the little corn dolly. And because he was small and made of corn, he disappeared in a little orange flame. Don't complain now.